Hello, learners, and you are welcome to today's lesson. So since tomorrow we will be writing, so it's just going to be some recap of what we have done in the previous week. So you must listen attentively. All right. Um, so it's just a recap. So we remember we started with static electricity, and then we said atoms are made up of what positively charged protons and neutrons that are tightly packed in the nucleus, and the negatively charged electrons are moving freely in a space around the nucleus. So we said a neutral atom has an equal number of negatively and positively charged particles, and then friction between objects causes electron to move from one object to another. Then we said the object that gains electrons becomes negatively charged because it has more electrons than protons. Then the object that loses electrons becomes positively charged because it has fewer electrons than protons. We also said that electrons are never created or destroyed. The number of electrons that one object loses is the same as the number of electrons that the other object gains. We also said that only insulators can become electrically charged through friction. And then we said that the separation of charges is called what? Static electricity. Okay, so let's go on. And then we also said, we also looked at losing and then what? Losing and gaining of electrons. So we said when an object has more electrons than protons overall, then we say that the object is negatively charged. So what do we mean by that? So if the electrons are more than protons, then the object is negatively charged. And if the protons are more than the electrons, then the atom or object is what positively charged. So when an object has fewer electrons than protons overall, then we say that the object is positively charged. So let's have a look at this. So here, for an object to be neutral, the number of protons should be equal to the number of electrons. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for protons, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for electrons. So positive minus 6, positive 6 minus 6 will give us what? 0. The same thing here. Now look at something here. If we count the second diagram, you see that positive. So let's try to count positive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 8. And how many electrons? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you see that the number of protons are more than what number of electrons. So in overall, we see that this object is what positively charged. Now let's look at this. Let's try to look at the positive. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have got 6 positive charges, and electrons 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you see that the minus or the negatives are more than what the protons. So overall, this object is what negatively charged. So take note. So an object is neutral or has no charge if, or it has got a 0 charge or is neutral if the positive is equal to what the negative. But if it is positively charged, it means the protons are more than the electrons. If it is negatively charged, it means the electrons are more than the protons. Okay. Now we also looked at what the change of particle model of matter, in which we look at what solid can change to what liquid, then the liquid can also what change to what gas, and the gas can also change to what solid. Or we have got a gas, the gas can condense and become liquid, and then also the liquid can also melt and become solid. Or we have got a gas, then the gas can also undergo deposition to become a solid. Or we have also got a solid that can quickly change to gas. without passing through the liquid stage. And remember, this process is known as a sublimation. So sublimation is the process whereby a solid changes to a gas without passing through the liquid stage. So take note, all these things you have to take note of them. What happens, the change of state from solid to liquid is known as melting. The change of state from liquid to solid is known as freezing. And the change of state from liquid to gas is known as what? Evaporation. So take note. Then, so the up there is the particle model of matter. So the particle model of matter is just a scientific method used to explain or describe matter in all its three states. All right. Now let's go to this. So conceptual development. So the particle model of matter states that all substances such as air, water, wood, metal, and plastic are made up of what? Tiny particles, which are atoms and what? Molecules. These particles are so small that we cannot see them even when we use a microscope. We say that they are microscopic. All right, the particle model of matter is just a representation of the particles that we cannot see. Atoms and molecules are not really cycles, but cycles are just easier to draw or just to illustrate. All right. Now let's go to the particles are constantly moving. Point E, the energy that the particles have is known as kinetic energy or movement energy. How fast or slow the particles move depends on the amount of energy they have. The spaces between the particles are empty. There is nothing in the spaces, not even air, because air is actually made up of oxygen and nitrogen. There are forces of attraction between the particles. Okay. Uh, Let me see, somebody is trying to, okay. Let's move on to the next. So, okay, so atoms, the building blocks of matter. So I'm just going to jump this one. I will jump this one too. So let's take note of this, the periodic table. So we said atoms of one element are different from atoms of another element. So that's why copper is different from zinc, but they are all what? The same elements, but just that they are different from each other because copper is made up of atoms of copper and zinc is made up of what? Atoms of zinc. All right. Then, very good. Now let's look at another one. We call them the subatomic particles. And then we remember we said the subatomic particles are basically the what? The particles or the components that make up the what? The atom. So as you can see from this diagram, you can see that we have got a simple representation of the atomic structure in which we have got the neutrons, the protons, and electrons are called the what? Subatomic particles. So what are the subatomic particles? They are the protons, the neutrons, and the electrons. So an atom is made up of what? Smaller subatomic particles. Okay, now let's look at this. The protons and neutrons are situated in the nucleus of the atom. And the nucleus is at the center of the atom. The electrons move around the atom, and then the protons are positively charged. The neutrons are neutral or they have no charge. The electrons are negatively charged. And a neutral atom has the same number of positive and negative charges. All right. So I hope you are following. Guys, learners, can you hear me? Somebody is asking whether we are doing Kahoot. Yes, we will do Kahoot to remind us. But I was just asking you to know whether you can hear me. All right, thank you very much. Natalia, yes, loud and clear. I like that. Okay, so then keep on listening to me. So basically this slide is talking about what? The subatomic particles. They are the protons, the neutrons, and the electrons. And then the protons are positively charged, neutrons no charge or neutral charge, and the electrons are what? negatively charged. So let's take note of that. And that, okay, so let's look at them. So all these points, I'm basically not going to explain to all of them. All right. So the first one is, how do we know what an atom looks like when we cannot see it? Even with the strongest microscope, scientists have developed a model of the atom based on the results of the experiment that they did on behavior of what atoms. So an atom consists of protons, neutrons, and what electrons. They cannot exist on their own. The positively charged particles called protons and electrically charged neutral particles called neutrons are tightly packed in the nucleus. So take note, the nucleus has an overall positive charge. Protons and neutrons together are called the what? Nucleons. Nucleons. Okay. The nucleus is positively charged in the center of the atom. It consists of positively charged protons and neutral neutrons. All right. So the electrons move at very high speed in orbit around the nucleus. They form an electron cloud that is much larger than the nucleus. Atoms are neutral because the number of negatively charged electrons is equal to the number of positively charged protons. The overall charge of an atom is zero. The simplest atom is hydrogen atom. It has only one proton, one electron, and no neutrons. So a typical example is carbon. Carbon has 6 protons, 6 neutrons, and 6 electrons. When all of them are 6, 6 in the case of carbon, we say they are neutral. The carbon atom is neutral. Now we also looked at what pure substances. We said a pure substance consists of only one kind of atom or molecule. And we said an example of pure substances are what? Elements and then compounds. So what we see in here is a typical example of compounds and elements. So there are only two classes of pure substances, namely compounds and elements. So from the diagram, you can see an element consists of atoms that are all the same, of the same kind. Okay. Now, a pure substance cannot be seen with the naked eye. The atoms or molecules that a substance consists of determine whether a substance is pure. So as you can see, so here the first diagram is the same, is purple throughout, meaning it's of the same kind. Then here, a compound consists of two or more kinds of atoms in a fixed ratio to give you the compound. All right, so we must take note. All right, let's go through this. We also looked at this example to see. So you can see that water molecule, if we were to identify them, this would be water molecule, carbon dioxide molecule, and hydrogen molecule. Okay, so water molecule is a compound because it has got a fixed ratio, that is 2:1. Carbon it has got a fixed ratio because it's 1:2, that is carbon and oxygen. And hydrogen is an element because it's made up of atoms of its own kind. Now, when people talk about pure substances, they usually mean substances without impurities. Look at the glass of water. And then if we have 2 glasses of water, let's say from a tap water, and then one for distilled water. So which one will be pure? So mostly the tap water is having other substances, other impurities in it, and hence is not going to be what described as being pure. We only look at what the other distilled water. All right. Now, so the water in the glass is only pure when there are only water molecules in the water. Table salt is a compound that is made up of what? Sodium atoms and then chlorine atoms. They react in the ratio 1:1. For every 1 sodium atom, there is 1 chlorine atom. All right. Table salt is a pure substance because it only consists of what? Sodium chloride. Okay. All right. So these are examples of pure substances. So water molecules, carbon dioxide molecules, and hydrogen molecules. So you see, it's only water molecules here, only carbon dioxide molecules, and only what? hydrogen molecule. Hence, they are just pure. Then we also looked at what the periodic table of the elements. So we said the periodic table is made up of what metals and non-metals. All right. Now, so what quickly we are going to do, we are going to go to Kahoot, and then we will also, it's just a revision, so I'm gonna share something right now. Okay, just a moment, just a moment, just a moment. Just a moment. Okay, so I'm gonna, oh, what is happening now? Okay, guys, just a moment, a moment, a moment. Can you see my slide? Leonard, can you see the slide? Can you see the Kahoot slide? Please get back. Can you see? You can see it. Okay. All right, good. Just wanted to know that. So we have already played this one, but just as a reminder. Okay. So let's see. All right. So let's see. Let's get going. Okay, so let's see, that's good. Okay, you all got it, but CD was the first to answer, followed by Natalie and Han. Let's go on. Okay, let's go. Okay, and the first to answer followed by Natalie, Lisedi, and Ntlantla. Okay, let's go on. The particle model of matter says that all matter is made up of tiny particles called. Very good. All right, so you all got it right. Let's see the first person to answer. It was Han. All right, let's get moving. What do you call the process from solid to gas without melting? Sublimation. Very good. Yeah, so let's see the one who got, yes, Natalie was the first person to do that. And then you see Lesedi is having a flame. It means Lesedi answered four correct answers in a row. So when you answer four correct answers in a row, you get what? A flame, meaning where she is. All right, let's go. The particle model of matter is used to explain the behavior of substances. True or false? Okay. Uh, you all are ready for it. Okay, Natalie was the first to answer, followed by Lesedi, Han, Plantler, and Cesar. So let's go. What do liquid particles do? Okay, so let's see. They move around each other. Let's see. You got my learners are yes. Lesedi was the first to answer. Follow in that order. Natalie has the highest answer streak of 6. It means Natalie answers 6 correct answers consecutively. So let's. What are the characteristics of a liquid? Okay, let's see. All right. So 4 people answered this one correctly. The water, what are the characteristics of a liquid? Flows and takes the shape of the container. Let's go on. The shady was the first noun consecutive. The CD also answered consecutively correctly. The CD was the first to answer, followed by Natalie, Han, Plantler, and Cesar. Let's go on. How is the distance between solid molecules? So you can look at the diagram. Very near. And all of you have got that right. These my learners are very, very clever. They are bright. I can see that. Yes. So Lisedi is still topping, and Lisedi has answered 8 answers correctly in a row. Yeah. But this one, Teza was the first to answer it. So let's get going. When the solid changes into a liquid, what does that mean? Melting. That's great. So let's see. let's say the answered 9 correctly straight. So that's why he has got a flame. So let's go on. And then the rest, all of you were answered, but Lesedi was the first to answer in that order. So let's go. Let's get going. The particle model of matter suggests that yeah, all of this. That's great. So let's go on. Yes, Lesedi has the highest answer streak, 10. Yes, let's go on. Particle model of matter. Okay, all matter is made up of tiny particles that are constantly in motion. So let's go on. Lisedi has got 11 correct answers in a row, but Natalie was the first to answer this. Okay, so let's go on. Or Natalia has also upgraded in terms. The change of a substance from a liquid to a gas is what? Okay, evaporation. That's perfect. So let's see. All right. Tyrus has the highest answer correctly. Straight. Okay, let's go on. Is gasoline a solid, liquid, or a gas? Yeah, liquid. All of you got it except one. Let's go on. Yeah, Lcd is still talking, followed by hand, Tyrus. So it means here Tyrus answered 7 correct answer in a row. True or false? This is not a liquid. Check it out with the pick. True or false? Perfect. All of you got that right? Let's see. Lcd is still talking. First to answer, followed by Han, Natalie, uh, Tyrus, and Cesar. So let's go on. What is a liquid? What is a liquid? Is it a material that has a definite shape and volume? A material has neither a definite shape nor a definite volume. A material has a definite volume but no definite shape. Which one is the answer? You can pick there. So the correct answer is a material has a definite volume but no definite shape. Yes, and then 2 people got that one here. Let's see. Okay, so it's Han and Natalie. And Natalie is back with an answer streak of 3. Nice. I hope you can see the reporting down there. The change of state from a solid to liquid is what? If you didn't get this, you should get it now. You should get it now. Perfect. Melting. All of 6 got it except 1. So let's see. Yeah, Natalia has got a streak of 4, and then the CD is still on top. Let's see who is going to be on top of the scoreboard. The particle theory of matter is useful scientific model because it was developed by famous scientists. It is easy to understand. It proves that matter is made up of particles. It allows scientists to explain many of the properties of matter. So what is it? Very good. 5 got this one right. And then let's see. Sadie is still topping. Han is also coming up. So the Sadie answered first, followed by Han, Natalie, Tyrus, and Cesar. Let's keep the flame burning. I can see basic unit of matter. What is it? The answers are there for you to see. Is it an ion? Is it a pound? Is it a proton? Or is it an atom? So you have time to answer this. Let's go on. All of you got this right. Let's see who got it first. Yes, it's the CD follow in that order. Let's get going. In the particle model, the particles are always moving, can be described as let's go, let's see, okay, kinetic. All six got it except one. So let's go on. Yes, Han is also back. Three in a row. Han is back. Let's see, but the CD is still topping, followed by Han, Natalie, Tyrus, and Cesar. Let's go. The last question we are going to see, what is an element that is a gas or brittle room temperature? Perfect. It's a non-metal. So let's see the one who is topping. Han got 16 out of 20. Natalie 17 out of 20. And the CD 17 out of 20, but first to always answer, which also gives a mark. Congratulations to everybody. That's nice. So what you have learned is part of what will be coming. Don't forget your subatomic particles. And then whatever we have done, the atom and everything, mixtures, you see, separation of mixtures, you will be fine at the end of the day. All right. So you see, it's great. So you can, if you have any question, you can ask. If you have any question, you can ask. Yeah, it's just you who became first. You were having is just me or the top five always the same people. No, it keeps on changing. You remember it was Han who was topping, so it depends. So it depends on your marks. So you see, Lisady and Natalie got the same. You all answered 17 out of what 20, but Lisady is topping because when you are the first person to answer, the marks allotted given to you is high. So that's why at least I am the first 2 times. That's good. I was next, Natalie. All of you have done well. I hope you've got some fun there. Now you can ask questions relating to the test tomorrow. And then the test, I want to just say that it's not complicated, it's straightforward. All what we have done is there. So if you have been following the lessons, you are too good to be true, with that. Yeah, well done to everybody. Keep on trying. And I said, ask any question. Ask any question for tomorrow's test. If you have got something bothering your mind, ask anything, any question, so that I can clarify it. All right. Any question? Oh, seriously? I can see that. All right. So I can see that my learners, you don't have any questions to ask. But Kahoot, yeah, if you say so, it's nice. Yes. So I learned you are going to You go to the African Teen Gig, the website, the questions are going to be there. You answer them on your own, and then there is a time. So you have the whole day for you to answer. Then when you are done, we will do the corrections, we will do the marking and correction on this platform again. But the answers, the questions, you are going to assess the questions on the African Teen Gig. Then you log in, you have them, you answer them on your own, but there is a timeline for you to do so that you can, you might not use the whole day. Yes. And then after we will mark, I will mark with you so that you will understand. And then the score as well. All right. Correct. Is that all? Any other questions related to the assessment for tomorrow? So don't be the way you people are performing here is just going to be the same. No question is going to be tricky or not what we have done. Everything is just at our level. Okay, so Homolemo, I've just sent you a private message. All right, guys, you can ask your questions again. Feel free to ask. Asanda, I didn't see you. What happened to you, Asanda? You were not active. Why? What's wrong? Or you join us? You joined late. What happened to you, Asanda? Oh, okay. Yeah, this technology is happening sometimes, even from my side. Sometimes it also acts up. Okay, so that was nice. So you can see that if you go back to Kahoot, our difficult questions were just only five. Only five. All right. So if you go and view the report, you can see the report. Okay, then Asanda, I would suggest that you can download the app from Google Play Store. So if it is acting up when you are joining using Google, that you can download the app from Google Play Store and see whether maybe it will be okay. So try that and we'll see you. I think you will be fine. All right. Yeah. Okay. Now, so we had got what? 9 players. Our questions were 20 and the time we used was 14 minutes. And then we some didn't finish, so you see the report. The report is people who need help. There are 2, and then those who didn't finish, you can see them. All right, that was great. And then let's view the podium. This is the podium. So the CD, followed by Natalie, and followed by what? Han. That's good. Keep it up that way, and then bye for now. And then I will hear from you when you miss a few, no problem. You are always trying your best. Bye and bye for now. See ya.